Last month on eBay had a ton of high vintage non-sports sales. This top 30 list is going to range all the way from $735 at the bottom all the way through $7,700 for the top sale this month. It was absolutely dominated by Marvel, but there's a sprinkle of other categories like historical figures in here as well. With that being said, let's take a look at the list. Starting off the list this week is a 1966 Batman Midnight Conference in a PSA 9. Three figures over here. We have Batman, Robin, I assume, and I'm not sure who this third person is. Card number 4 in the set, sold by 4 Sharp Corners. It is a brand new label too. You can see it 857 certification, and this card looks very crisp. I do wonder if this was sourced out of a collection or some of the recent Batman boxes that have sold within the last few months. But you can take a look at the back too. It's literally packed fresh, minus probably that little corner over there and a little bit better picture of that card. Also selling for $735. Like once again, 4 Sharp Corners. Being the same price point, 2 Batman cards, one next to each other. I do wonder if it's a registry guy that decided to pick both of these up. But we have Grim Realization, which is card number 7 in the set. So this is a pop 15. Again, pretty close with the certification number, really sharp corners there. And you guys can take a look at the back. Probably just something slightly there, which caused that 9 grade. Slightly under $750. 1966 Batman color, the Joker. This one was sold by AMT Memorabilia, so a different sale than 4 Sharp Corners. And I don't know if this is the first Joker card or somewhere around that time frame. I think there's also multiple Batman sets from 66. But corners, not too bad on that. Then we flip over the back. Yeah, 100% there's 2 different Batman sets. But nice copy. Probably dinged a little bit. We're off of Batman cards and we're going to historical figures. And up next we have Professor Albert Einstein. This is one of the first Einstein cards out there. This is 1924 Milhoff. These are actually pretty tough to find in the UK. I've talked to multiple dealers. I've only actually seen one card raw from the set over at the UK. So either they've been cherry picked or a lot of the dealers just don't have these. And Milhoff is a pretty famous manufacturer out of there. Now I'm trying to take a look at the image. I don't know what's going on right here with the card. It looks like there's some staining or a possible wrinkle on it. You can take a look at some of the corners. Honestly, not the best images for how expensive this card is raw. I mean, it does look pretty nice. I'm not going to lie with that, but let's see if something says over here. Yeah, there's not much in here. So someone probably took a little bit of a risk on this card, but who knows? You might have been able to grab a good deal. I personally wouldn't buy it based off of this. Maybe I'd ask the dealer or seller in this case for a few more images, but very classic Einstein card. I do have this in a 2.5, but mine has like a small crease or slash indent on one of the corners. And the reason for that is someone had it in an album at some time and they removed it. They either removed it wrong or just album pressure over time caused that on the front. Gorgeous card, 2.5 in my PC. So one of my favorites. $750. Batman's just been dominating the list this week. A 1966 Batman Batcopper playing card. So this is the third Batman set. I actually wasn't too familiar with this before looking at the top 30 sales. But you can see over here, grade over here, gem mint 10, pop 3. Which I will say also with these playing cards, they are much easier to find in higher grade than standard cards. The reasoning is the corners. So like you see how these are rounded corners, they're much more forgiving. You see this also, there's a lot of baseball sets in the early 1900s that have rounded corners like that. You see them in higher grades. Same with a few other releases. There's a boxing set too, 1909-ish, and same thing, you find them a lot. So that's my assumption with these 1966 Batmans. And who knows, someone might have found a full deck and just broke those up, but I'm not sure how those were originally packaged. But you'll see that there's another one from the set. So we have Batmobile over here in a 10 also. And this sold for $750. Personally, and I don't know much about Batman, but I do know the Batmobile is kind of like an iconic vehicle for him. I would have thought this one would have sold for more, but I guess also like if you bought the set raw and you're getting tens, if someone offers you $750 for each of them, you're probably taking that, right? Bad position in the PSA holder. I know people don't like these type of holders. There's a lot of mixed thoughts online on those, but pretty cool card. We have a 1982 Paul McCartney autograph card. It says a promo card autograph tug of war. This sold for about 1250 USD. It was 1,000 GBP. Best offer on it. I will say, just taking a look at this card, it sold twice. So I'm curious if the first person just never paid or what the case was on that side of things. But regardless, you see the autograph over here. There is a wrinkle on the card itself, and it's actually a postcard. Looks like it was pasted in an album, actually, just taking a look at this back. You could technically remove that, but I don't think you would want to with the autograph on there. Just keep it like it is. But still, I'm not too familiar with this specific like release of a postcard and also the story behind the signature. Were all these signed or was it a few? Interesting, but something I have to look up in the future. 1250 for Alexander Hamilton and a 4. I can't remember if I have Hamilton or not. I know I have a triple with Hamilton, but I can't remember what grade my single was. Either as a 1 or like a 3.5. And I probably said that in another video with Hamilton, but his stuff has been going up quite a bit recently. I mean, this whole Duke N76 set has been, especially in like 2s, 3s, and 4s, but regardless, it's good and bad to see. Like, you want your collection to go up, but at the same time, for like buying purposes, it kind of sucks. So this is still one of my favorite sets of all time, the Duke N76. I think they're gorgeous. This one doesn't have the best centering. You can see how much top to bottom over here. It is kind of common in this release, but just something to note on this 4. Although the colors look pretty good, you will see a lot of staining on the back of these though. All right, this one sold for $1,300. I actually find it interesting because John Williams is a composer. It would be like getting a Hans Zimmer on a card if they made some cards of some of the different fantastic movies that he's scored, but or even now Trent Reznor, yeah, he's scoring a lot of different movies. But regardless, pretty high sale, I would assume. This is the first time he's been featured on this list, but it's kind of cool to see some composers on here now. Now, personally, I'm a big rock metal fan, but you do have to appreciate the composers that make a lot of famous, iconic soundtracks. 1450. I believe this is the first time this specific Superman card has appeared on the list. You will typically see card number 1 and the last one in the set, but this is a PSA 5. Now it is this weird PSA Lighthouse edition, which I've noticed on a lot of these. They tend to be all over the place with grading. Photo's kind of blurry, so I can't really tell the quality. I mean, you can tell that there's a rounded corner over there, but I mean, this is just so pixelated. I can't do a full read on the condition, but still have to call out that sale. This one sold on ComC 1458. Walt Disney in a PSA 7. Now, I bought 7 of these cards when I was overseas from a private deal. And I don't think I'm going to get... Oh, I wouldn't say I don't think. I hope I get a 7. I think the majority of the stuff I'm going to get is between 4 and 6. Maybe some 3s. Maybe a 6.5. Cross fingers for a 7. But if I do get a 7, I'd be thrilled. And another card that you will always see on this list, assuming that high grade sells, because these are just extremely popular. 1979 Sylvester Stallone Meet Rocky, $1,500. A near mint 7 and an autograph of a 9. And look at that. There's been a few Stallone autographs on here. I'm curious if he does a lot of private signings, and that's why we see this. But either way, classic card. One of the first Rocky cards. Although Stallone does have earlier cards, just to call that one. 1575. 2 bids on this one. Rot into the core, Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to say any political opinions. I'm kind of apolitical, but take a look at this over here. And in 9 5s or 10s, this card makes the list quite a bit. And there are autographed editions of this. There's a few people on Twitter that have posted them. I don't know much about this specific card. So it says Marvel Masterpiece 1992 Kickstarter FPG Redemption. And this one sold for $1,600, although like the placement on here is kind of weird. It looks like it's sliding in. Interesting. Let's see if it has any description. Unredeemed redemption card for the 999 silver, limited to 15 ships. But they don't have a back on there. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it. If you know, let me know. So I can learn something new. I know Marvel and comics is like way outside the realm of what I collect though, but at least to make these videos a little bit better. Another Marvel 1650 Wolverine versus Sabretooth Spectra. I assume these are very tough to get graded in high grade with foil and some of the colored borders here on the back. But yeah, I know Wolverine's a bigger character. I'm not too sure about the other one. And I'm sure people watching this video is like, how do you not know that stuff? Look, I like historical figures and music. That there's only so much to collect. Batman #1. This sold for $1,800, 1966 in a PSA 7. You will see a lot of these that are going to be off-centered. It's just one of those type of releases. Very classic card. Shifted to the top left, unfortunately. I think it was shifted a little better. You get a little bit higher grade. But not too bad of a copy. 1989, we have a 1933 Sea Raiders Blackbeard. And it says no creases on here. Blackbeard cards have they've been going up a lot. And you can take a look here on the back. It says printed in USA. And we have worldwide gum underneath it. And there's a few different variants of this card. You will see another one a little bit later here on the list. What does it say? The Power Seller 25. I don't know. Either way, if I was going to guess condition on this, I would probably give it a 1.5. Looks like, I can't tell if that's a print defect or paper loss there. Super rounded corners. And I know people are going to say, Ryan, you care too much about corners. That's what I like corners. So that's my opinion. And let's take a look here on the back. Yeah, if I were to grade, I'd probably give it a 1.5. But this is a pretty massive sale for this card. We have another Sea Raiders, and this is $2,000 for Pirates Legacy. And what's cool, go here on the back, this is the Montreal edition. So you can see Chewing Gum Montreal, and then there's French on the back. These are much tougher to find. This would be like the equivalent of the Worldwide Gum Babe Ruth card, where these were issued out in Canada rather than America. I do like the design of this card quite a bit too. The treasure map. It's kind of unique, right? And pretty massive sale. And it's cool to see two 1933 Sea Raiders here on the list. You don't see them that often. And by often, I mean like on this list. Sea Raider cards are out there in general. Okay, now we're going to have a lot of these Diamond Previews 1990 Marvel Universe. So I'm, again, just going to clarify, I don't know what these are. And if you do, let me know. But we can take a look here at the back. I assume it's this diamond that's been printed on it. And maybe these are before like the full set was released. Again, I'm not 100% sure on those, but there are quite a lot. So we have Spider-Man, which also sold for $2,000. You can see that diamond here on the back. And we have Mephisto. I probably just mispronounced it. And someone's in the comments going to say, well, this is the actual way how you pronounce it. I don't care. But 2,000 also on that one. Our first Mars attack on the list, which kind of surprised me, but $22.75 for prize captive. This and card #1 always are extremely popular. This is a great looking 8 too. Eye appeal wise, at least in my own personal opinion. New label, new grade as well. Just an iconic image. $23.75. I think it was last month we saw a lot of these 1966 Marvels sold by Cleveland Kid. So another one that's probably been part of a set break. 2600 Mars Attacks #54. I'm kind of surprised this went for the same as #21. Maybe there's short prints in the set, or like there's not many of these in a PSA 8 of this specific card. Someone needed for the registry. I would assume that 21 and card #1 would outsell that, but especially in a very old cert, it starts with a 0, and you can tell the slab's been quite different. But That's just initial thoughts on that. $3,000 Carrie Fisher autograph on here at 1980 Star Wars Tears of a Princess. And sadly, a miscut card here on the back. But you can't grab her autographs anymore. I believe she passed away a few years ago. $32.99 Nasty Nick 1A and a PSA 9. This image looks a little off though. Can't tell if it's like a darker image or what. And you can take a look at the back on this card as well. $34.95 Superman versus Torpedo. I always say either you're going to see card number 1 or the last card in the set, which is 72. Just because they sell for so much. And it's a 2.5 copy. Look here on the back. Ooh, it looks like they have a lot of edge issues on that one. Or it's staining. I can't tell. Is that staining or edge issues? No idea. $4,000 Curly number 1 to Three Stooges. High grade Curlies. Man, that's money in the bank for non-sports side of things. Always, I'd say probably top 10, top 20 most popular non-sports card of all time. At least for like characters and different things like that. You always see cards 1 through 3 in the set get a pretty good premium, but Curly obviously the most popular. $4,500 Silver Surfer hologram. This was a CGC 10. How rare are these holograms? Is it just because it's a high grade that it sold for so much? Or are these kind of like a case hit or box hit? Let me know. And lastly, the most expensive card that sold this month non-sports wise is Princess Leia. And look here on the back, 1977 Star Wars. And doesn't mention tops on there. Are they supposed to technically? No, I guess not, as they have the 1977 there. I know they made these cards in a lot of different countries, so I was kind of surprised they didn't mention tops on the slab. And I know I've covered the set a lot of times here on the channel already, but that was the first time I noticed that. But either way, $7,700 for Princess Leia. And that will do it from the non-sports side. If I did miss any top sales, please let me know in the comments down below. That way I can improve these videos every single month. And if you do have non-sports cards to sell, please hit me up. I especially collect a lot of rock as well as historical figures. That's kind of my wheelhouse. And I like always improving my collection. All right, I will see you in another video. And if you want to check out some of the older non-sports eBay sales, I have a full playlist.